We have extended Victory Monday to Victory Tuesday in the state of North Carolina, with the Carolina Panthers defeating the Miami Dolphins this past Sunday. Charlotte Observer Panthers beat writer Alex Zietlow in the house. We're going to talk all things Panthers here today on the Desmond Johnson Show, live here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, tobaccoroadsportsradio.com. If you have questions regarding the Carolina Panthers, what they did, what they didn't do, you want to ask Alex something, now is the time. Get on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Watch. You can ask us live while we're on the air. In the meantime, let's go ahead and roll that intro. It's Tuesday's Desmond Johnson Show.
Live with Desmond Johnson, son, the live is one. Represent NC to the fullest.
Yeah, welcome to the Carolinas. Everywhere you go, the sky is Carolina blue, the finest. Live action, feedback, the city needs that. I've been number one, no cap. Here's the recap. Adrenaline is my addiction. I'm about to relapse. Step on the turf if you won't and get your weed whack. I'm going harder than a martyr on the starter end. It's the heart of man, that's a rap like a cardigan. I'm breaking records, it's 4th and inches. I count the seconds. The over-under's my roar of thunder, my secret weapon. Yeah, the game is to be told. I don't break, I break modes. Follow me on Tobacco Road.
Live with Desmond Johnson, son, the live is one. Represent NC to the fullest.
And welcome into the Desmond Johnson Show here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, tobaccoroadsportsradio.com. Shout out to everybody who's been online for the past 30 minutes trying to figure out what the hell the second decision was with LeBron James. Apparently, I think it was a Hennessy commercial or something. It wasn't anything world-breaking or anything like that. I think everybody thought it was going to be him announcing retirement. I don't believe, from what I'm seeing online, that was the case. But have no fear. We've got you covered here live on the Desmond Johnson Show across multiple formats. You can see us now on Kick. You can see us on Twitch. You can see us on X. You can see us on YouTube and Facebook and all over the place. Alex Zietlow in the house from the Charlotte Observer. And the Panthers coming off of a 27-24 win over the Miami Dolphins. Now 2-0 at home, which is crazy. Alex, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yo, I'm doing great. Hey, we can call it Victory Tuesday if you want. It's always a win when I make the Desmond Johnson Show. It's always
hey, we don't know how many of these we're going to get, so we're going to try to stretch this out as long as we can, kind of like how some people do with their birthday. They just make it birthday week instead of the actual day. We're just going to call it Victory Tuesday and keep it moving from there. Final thoughts before we move our gaze towards the Dallas Cowboys coming into Bank of America Stadium on Sunday. Final thoughts from Sunday. Just key takeaways from you from watching that game and watching the Panthers battle back. It's the first time really that this core group has battled back and actually achieved the comeback. We've seen them try a couple of times and just fall short at the end. This one felt a little different in terms of them punching back. They got punched again, and then they punched back and actually won the game. What were some of your thoughts leaving that game at Bank of America Stadium on Sunday?
This defense is pushing back against the narrative that they can't defend the run. And they're doing so with aplomb and with rigor. And they are just like, it's so obvious that they are like, oh my gosh, this is what we were last year. And this is what we are this year. They go into week 2 with 8 consecutive games of 200 yards or of giving up 200 rushing yards. And then against the Dolphins, they give up only 19. Actually, Trevor Etienne outrushes the Dolphins with 22 yards for himself, which is pretty cool. And so I'm really quite impressed with this defense. I think what E.J. Evero has done is really remarkable. And then on the offensive side, the Rico Dowdle show was just really wonderful to see. And that was great. The offensive line played really well, even without Robert Hunt. Brady Christensen, I think, filled in really well at that right guard spot. But then the really big takeaway, and Desmond, I'm sure you have thoughts on this too, is still what to make of Bryce Young, because he is there are just moments of magic. There are just moments of undeniable, flashes of greatness in him. You saw that on the 4th down play in the first half where he dodges a pass rusher and then throws the ball while a pass rusher is coming into his face, basically throws Teteroa McMillan open. And then you got the final drive of the game where he finds Jimmy Horn on a perfectly placed ball in the 4th quarter. He throws a beautiful ball to Xavier Legette to get that first touchdown and get the Panthers offense going. and yet he still starts the game with 2 turnovers, and that's why he has to be a magician at the end of the game. So those are my takeaways. This defense has really embraced fixing their rushing game reputation, and the offense is still trying to figure out who they are. But guess what? Hey, they have a gem in Rico Dowdle.
I'm glad you mentioned Bryce Young. On our Believe in Panthers post-game show, myself and Jonathan Stewart, we started doing live ones after the games on Sunday. And I keep game notes on my phone while I'm watching the game. And in that game in particular, I sounded like a crazy person by the time I got to the end of the notes, because from the very beginning, when we started with Bryce and everything else to the very end, I wrote down, I've been a Carolina Panther fan since inception, since 1995. So I've been here from the highs and lowest of the lows. I've seen every single starting quarterback that's ever started for the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young may be the most frustrating quarterback that's ever started for the Carolina Panthers, and that's good and bad. Like, it literally, you can get in that game on Sunday, we saw the worst of Bryce Young and we saw the best of Bryce Young in the same 3 hours. And it's like, it's hard because for the amount that we gave up for him and where we drafted him at number 1, I think me personally, and talking to other Panther fans that have been on the fence about Bryce, we had a certain kind of expectation of Bryce because of what we did to get him. And that might not have been fair to him. I've always said he's not a unicorn type of quarterback. He's not Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, these physical specimens that can put a team on their back and win a game. But he can game manage a win. Like, he can easily be one of the best game managers in the league. And that's not a bad thing. Tom Brady was a game manager. So it's like, it's not necessarily he doesn't necessarily need to be a game changer. He just needs to get out of his own way. And I feel like once the Panthers kind of figured out what their offense needs to be in this game, like throughout the game, they kind of figured it out. Rico Dowdle helped a lot in helping them figure it out. But they got to be run first. Like, they've got to be run first to keep that other offense off the field and to give Bryce just some time to just kind of get into the game. He's not going to start off hot like Pat Mahomes, boom, 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 all across the field. And it felt like they were trying to throw the ball early with him. And within the first 5 or 6 plays, he had the weird fumble where it just came out of his hand, and then the interception that he probably should have thrown. He was trying to throw it on his toes over the offensive line. When they came back out, shout out to Dave Canales for not abandoning the run game. They were down 17-0, but they hadn't gone through all their scripted plays yet. And Rico, to his credit, he put a foot in the ground and just started 10-yard gashes basically. And from that point on, it opened it up. And then Bryce was able to open up the passing game, connected with, I think, 9 different receivers in that game. It was just 2 different games in terms of what was going on early in the game until what was going on towards the end. I did like the fact that even after we took the lead in the 4th, it took Miami 2 plays to go back down the other way and score a touchdown. Former iterations of this team would have just kind of stopped right there. Like, they would have shot themselves in the foot, or something would have happened where we wouldn't have won that game. But they went down the field on that drive and scored to win the game. And there were key contributions from rookies throughout this entire day. I wanted to ask you, who is the rookie that's shown up or has shown up the most outside of Tet McMillan? Because Tet had a good day on Sunday, and he's been by far the best rookie out of his class. But who else besides him has been kind of flashing for you in these first 5 games with the Panthers?
Yeah, I would immediately talk about the 2nd round pick, Nick Scorton. He has done he's the outside linebacker, obviously, who has done a really good job for this Panthers defense, both in the run, defending the run and and pass rushing, I should say. He had 33 snaps this past week. That is more than DJ Wanham. That's the second most on the team among outside linebackers, just below Pat Jones and above DJ Wanham now. So he is steadily getting more and more reps on this defense, and he has proved deserving of it. I'm just thinking of this one play in particular. Sometimes in the EJ Evero system, they ask their outside linebackers to drop back in coverage. And he did so one time, and the play actually ended up working out perfectly because Tua just throws the ball to the outside to, I believe, Devin the Chain. And the running back catches the ball, but Scorton's right there. And he's there, and he wraps him up, tackles him, tackle for loss. Or really, and I'm sure that a lot of scheme had to play into that when it comes to, like, oh, how are you there? How are you in the right place at the right time? But also, he finished the tackle, and he's still moving offensive linemen on his pass rushes. I'm about as positive on Scorton as I could possibly be right now. But that's not to say that other members of this rookie class didn't do their things well. Princely Uman Milan got a really important he proved that he can tackle in the run game. Mitchell Evans had the game-winning touchdown, and he's a rookie tight end who has gotten 2 touchdowns in 2 games, and who like it isn't being used a ton in the pass game, but you see that like, hey, he's kind of emerging as a red zone target for this team. So like, I would say Scorton, to answer your question succinctly, which I fail to do regularly, Desmond, don't worry. But the whole rookie class, like my colleague Mike Kay said something that was really good. He said, like, this was a huge win for Dan Morgan and this front office staff, because after 2023, where Dan Morgan wasn't the general manager then, but just sticking with the recent draft classes, only 2 players from that were drafted in the 2023 draft class by the Panthers are still on the active roster. That is Chandler Zavala and Bryce Young.
Yep.
2024, like there's still some things to see. Xavier Legette had a really good game this past week, but he was struggling prior to that, blah, blah, blah. 2025, this rookie class you can see that they could be the future of this franchise and of this team. So really, really good stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually had it up on a tab over here. This was one of the games that we needed to justify Dan Morgan's picks and what he was doing during these 2 drafts, because really this team starts from the 2024 draft onward. And to your point, yeah, Bryce Young and Chandler Zavala are the only 2 on the team from 2023. From 2022, only player, well, there's 2 players still on the team, Ike Ekwonu and Cade Mays, the 2 linemen who actually both started, but everyone else is gone. And if you go back even further than that, I mean, the 2021 draft, there's still some guys on here: J.C. Horn, Brady Christensen, Tommy Trimble, Chuba Hubbard. I mean, so they got some stuff. But once you get to 2024, some of the names that are on here are contributing right now. 2nd-year guys, rookies, like right now to the core of this team. Xavier Legette had a big game Sunday. Jonathan Brooks, who's kind of the forgotten man here, they traded up for him in the second out of Texas and had high hopes for him. He's on injured reserve for the year. He'll be back next year. So you've got Jonathan Brooks still in the house. Trevin Wallace, who, according to Dave Canales, Wallace and Rosenboom, they switched their positions this week, where Wallace was the mic instead of Rosenboom, and they both had great games because of it. Wallace was finally flashing on my screen. Rosenboom led all tacklers with 9 and said he felt like he was playing more freer, not having to deal with the mic work. So they've been adjusting things as they go. And shout out to Ejiro Evero, because I've been very hard on him all year this year and basically putting him on a hot seat that he may or may not have been on. But I'm just sitting there watching these games. I'm like, my defense is still getting shredded. And this is the healthiest you're going to be all year. How can this get better? And to his defense, it got better. So between that and then the rookies from this year, pretty much every rookie they drafted, except for, I think Cam Jackson's hurt, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't he get hurt like a couple of weeks ago?
No, he played.
He did play. Okay, so pretty much everybody that I'm looking at here, the 2025 draft selections, they all played or they all had some kind of contribution in that win, which is very, very rare. You rarely get a draft class where you've got 6-7 guys you picked and all of them, all the way down to the last pick, Jimmy Horn Jr., contributing to an actual win 5 months later, from the draft. That the rookie class is just really, really good. I'm really interested in seeing what Dan Morgan does going forward now that they'll kind of have some more room to spin and things of that sort, like in free agency, and actually attract some bigger names here as we go forward. Now, the Panthers are hosting the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday at 1:00 on Fox, and the Dallas Cowboys come into Bank of America Stadium with the worst defense in the NFL currently, even worse than the Baltimore Ravens. I know that's hard to believe, but yes, they are giving up 421 yards a game. What are your keys here for Carolina, who's 2-0 at home, 0-3 on the road? But some of those teams they lost to, New England and Jacksonville, might be better than we thought when we actually played those games. So it kind of changes our record a little bit too. What are your thoughts for what they need to do on Sunday versus Dallas?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is do not turn the ball over.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is the number one key as the Panthers go into any game this year. And that doesn't just purely fall on Bryce, but a lot of it does fall on Bryce Young. Second thing, establish the run, stick to the run. I think the Panthers learned that, hey, even down 17-0, if we can establish the run, good things will happen. That was one really good lesson that the team took from this Dolphins game. And also along the run line, it'll be interesting to just a tangent. It'll be interesting to see how they handle the backfield if Chuba Hubbard does come back, with Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle both running pretty well so far this year. Chuba has a calf injury and all these things, but whatever. So establishing the run will be important. And then thirdly, like this Dallas offense is really good. They are an explosive group. You got to limit the big plays. And how do you limit big plays? You prevent Dak Prescott from having too much time in the pocket. So so their pass rush is going to have to be good. So to recap, don't turn the ball over, establish the run and stick to it, and get after Dak Prescott. That's essentially what they did against the Dolphins minus that first one, and they ended up coming away with the win. So I think a similar thing could happen if they do. But then again, hey, the Dallas Cowboys are better than I think their record suggests. So it should be an interesting one.
Yeah, Dallas, it feels like there's going to be shootouts like all year long because they kind of waved the white flag on their defense when they traded off Micah Parsons right before the season began. And they've just been in these back and forth games, like that Bears game that they played a couple weeks ago where they just kind of pooped the whole thing. Like that one was weird, but losing to the Giants, I think it was 40-37 the opening week. Russell Wilson is not even starting anymore. He has been benched for a rookie. And that was the first week where there's up and down, up and down, up and down. I do think they can follow the same blueprint they had on Sunday, minus the turnovers. Again, was this like the third game out of 5 games where we've had like 2 turnovers in the first, like, I don't know, something crazy, like 8 minutes of the of the game.
I
like
don't have the stat in front of me, but yeah.
But that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. So it's like if Bryce can just, like I mentioned earlier in this segment, if they don't call the plays as if Bryce is the one that has to lead this train. He doesn't have to lead this train. He just needs to be the conductor. Just keep it on the tracks. You know, you don't have to be the one pressing the pedal, but just don't turn the ball over. Get it to your playmakers. You're getting some back, actually. So get them in space, call the right things. And the offensive line seems to perform better with Cade Mays at center in the run game. I don't know what it is, but he just got edged out by Austin Corbett in the preseason. For that starting role, Corbett's out 6 to 8 weeks. Ever since Cade Mays came in and started, I'm seeing clips online of Cade Mays just kind of coming down the line and crashing on dudes and just opening up these huge holes where he might have been the better option at center anyway. So that might be addition by subtraction in terms of course, nobody wants to get injured or whatever, but that might have helped the offensive line. And Brady Christensen over on that right side, there was a stat on Sunday at one point the Panthers had ran to the right side of the line like 10 times for 125 yards or something like that, like in the fourth quarter. And to Canales and company's credit, they kept going. They kept doing what works. In football, it doesn't have to be complicated. Like Mark Schlereth during the broadcast actually brought up when he was on the offensive line with the Denver Broncos and they won the Super Bowl in 98, 99. It's like they had 6 run plays the entire time. Now they had different dressing and pre-snap movement and formations and stuff. He's like, but we ran 6 plays, like literally the entire time. And he was like, once you found something you liked, we might run that same play 5 times in a row, but it might be different dressing around it or whatever, but it's literally the same hole. It's the same thing. And like football is more of a game like if you can't stop what we're doing, don't get cute and stop doing it. Keep doing it until they stop you. It doesn't matter if it's Pop Warner or NFL. And that's what the Panthers did on Sunday. They just kept running the same type of stuff and the Dolphins couldn't stop it. Now, I think the Cowboys are even less equipped to stop what the Panthers had decided to do on Sunday in terms of the run game and just scoring in general. And I saw over on FanDuel that they're calling for the Panthers to score like 23.5 points. The Cowboys are giving up 30 a week easily. So I'm like, if you're a betting person, you might want to go over to FanDuel and check that line out real quick. The over under, or I think the Cowboys are favored for about 3.5. I think it is right now on the road. Your thoughts on that? Do you like the Cowboys in this game? Do you like the Panthers in this game? What do you expect to see here at the Bank of America Stadium on Sunday?
Oh, Desmond, don't put me on the spot like that.
I know it's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. I try to avoid making predictions this early in the week.
That's fair.
I just the thing that I do want to hammer home is that while this Panthers fan base is fired up, and they should be, and while the building, the Bank of America Stadium, like the players, the coaches, the training staff, all these, they are hopeful and they see this Cowboys team as an opportunity for a win. The Cowboys are still a really explosive offense, and in the Dave Canales era, the Panthers have yet to string together 2 straight wins.
Yes.
So there does need to be some, how you say, temperance, just like some coolness throughout this. But hey, this is a really good opportunity for the Panthers. I think the 23.5 point margin is compelling if you are a betting person, but that means that the Panthers defense has to step up and play well as well. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer saying I don't want to give a game prediction, Desmond. I hope that's okay.
No, it's fine. I totally get it. And I'm with you. The Panthers, I got sucked into this trap when they beat Atlanta, and the way they beat Atlanta, I was like, oh, okay, look at what we got going forward. We can go on a little run. And then they dropped the egg the very next week against New England. I'm kind of trying to avoid that in terms of this too, because it is Dallas, and I know half the stadium's gonna be Cowboy fans, and it's all that whole thing. But this is an opportunity for this young core of this team to start to stack some wins. Before they got Buffalo here in a couple of weeks, and some other. We haven't played Tampa yet. Like, they've got some games coming up. They're going to be tough to play, but this is the moment where a lot of these younger guys are on this team. They haven't won 2 games in a row in the NFL, like you said, 2-year, 3-year, 4-year guys. I don't think Derek Brown and J.C. Horn have been on a Panther team that's finished above 500 like their entire career. So this is a new area for them, and they need to, in order to become winners, you have to win. People didn't talk about the Kansas City Chiefs until they were winning. Like, people didn't talk about the Patriots until they were winning constantly. So when I hear fans say, "Oh, they never talk about the Panthers," I'm like, why would they? Why would the national media talk about us right now when we're still trying to figure out who we are, and we can't win 2 straight? And one week Bryce Young was great, the next week we want to fire him and Dave Canales and everybody else. Shout out to Panthers Twitter, though. Like I mentioned earlier, there's no other place on Twitter that's like Panthers Twitter, because our fans are neurotic. We expect so much for a team that has not ever won anything like that. So it's kind of crazy watching them react to some of this stuff in real time, emotionally being attached to the team. You can follow Alex on X at Alex Zietlow. You can follow his work in the Charlotte Observer every week throughout the season. It feels like this is a different season where we can actually look forward to Panther games as opposed to it being a chore to watch and then report on, like we've had to do really since David Tepper bought the team. So this is the first time probably since Steve Wilkes became interim head coach where it felt like the fan base is looking upward, like, oh, this could actually work. I see what they're doing. It could actually work out. We need to be patient. Any other time besides Steve Wilkes' little moment of sunshine, it's been kind of like, no, this is not going to work out. And then we're stuck with it. But I feel good. I feel good about it going in there. Alex, we'll have you back on later on this season. Hopefully we'll be talking about maybe a playoff push. I don't know. I might be getting ahead of myself here, but
wow.
I probably am ahead of myself here. I'm with Jonathan Stewart every week. He's the pusher of positivity when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. So it's starting to rub off on me. I'm usually very pessimistic when it comes to the Panthers and their choices, but he has started to rub off on me to look at the positive of what they're doing. And everybody, keep in mind, this is a very young team. The guys in key spots are very, very young. Dave Canales has never called plays before, I believe, up until this moment. And this is second year as a head coach. Let them grow. Let them see what they're going to do, and we'll kind of get it from there. But that's going to be our show for today. Tomorrow we'll have Mark Pruitt on, Winston-Salem Journal prep beat writer, who will help us with the big three, our big 3 high school football games of the week on Friday. We might have Ryan Stone in for best bets as well. So we'll have a loaded show for you there. And then our NFL roundtable will air Saturday morning. So we will see you guys tomorrow live, 12:30 p.m. here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio. It's the Desmond Johnson Show. Peace. Have a great Tuesday.